So today's session, we're going to finish up the talking about the remainder process tools on the process tools page, and I'm going to go through all of those tools and talk about technically how to use them, and then some tips and techniques for using them well. And then I'm going to end with talking about a process from our library, which I think is a really good one. It's called Key Performance Indicators, and is something that can be used here through the control panel as well. So let's go back over here to the 4 functions. I'm just clicking on doing the business right here. And then I'm going to go back to this example process here called customer complaints. So last week we talked about work plans, and we also talked about checklists. So just a quick reminder about work plans in particular. The work plan is the tool that you're going to use the most. Every process in the end should have a work plan. I'm sure that there's some exceptions to that, but I'd say 95% of the time a process will always have a work plan. The work plan is the overall step-by-step. It defines and lays out the process. It has all the details in it. It's typically used for training purposes. It's a full, clear explanation of each step of that process. Inside the work plans, you can also reference other tools that are used. So right here in task number 4, I've got a link here to providing a solution script, and that goes right here to this script. You can refer to checklists and say complete the checklist daily, and then make a link to the checklist. You can say refer to this policy and make a link to a policy. So these hyperlinks can show through the tasks when and how the other tools are used. So once you've fully documented the work plan, look for those opportunities to go back and make links to other tools that you've created. So let's go down here to scripts. To make a script, same as the other tools, you just select the title, and then you put the name of the script, and then you hit Create Script. The objective field for all the tools will appear right here, and it means the same thing everywhere you see it in TouchStone. It's just meant to be the purpose of the process. What is it here for? We talked last week about sometimes using this objective field to put in context. So why is this script important, or why is the checklist important? So now that this new script has been created, you'll see the prompt section, which is here, and then the script section. So if I click Add Script Item, and click Open the prompt is the explanation of what's happening. So if this is a conversation script, usually the first prompt is going to be a greeting of some kind. So you literally type in what is this first thing that's being said, and then I would save it, and then I go over here to the right, and then these are the actual words. So hello, how may I help you? So you're putting the actual words that someone is going to say when they are saying the greeting. So the prompt is the explanation of what's happening, and then the script is the actual words that are spoken. The prompt can also be a question that's being asked. If this was a frequently asked question script, so the prompt would be the question, and then over here on the script side, this is the answer to the question. This functionality is, the toolbar is very similar to what you will see in the work plans and the checklists. One important thing to remember is as you're going through building the script, you want to add a new script item every time the conversation either moves on to the next piece of the conversation, or when the next question is being asked. So add script item. This toolbar is very similar to the work plan and checklist toolbar that you'll see. You can do hyperlinks in the script, but I think that's pretty uncommon because it's literally a conversation going back and forth, and somebody is focusing on the conversation. They wouldn't necessarily click on a link, but you do have that ability right here. I'm just going to hit cancel on this. The scripts can be reordered, so it's just drag and drop like it is for the tasks in the work plan or checklist items. You just drag up and drag down to reorder. So let's talk about when and how and in what situations you would use scripts. Generally, I would see two types of scripts, and I'm just going to pull this one to the top. These are all drag and drop also. Do you want to reorder any of your tools? So this is what I would call a conversational script. It's called providing a solution. And a conversational script usually starts with a greeting of some kind. Hello, how may I help you? And then it goes through the whole conversation all the way to the end of the conversation. So you're literally thinking about the back and forth of the conversation. The prompt is kind of your strategy in the script. So what are you trying to, what are the words meaning? What are you trying to get across? So in the prompt side, you can use things like confirm that you understand the issue, or listen, or say this with an empathetic tone. So you can think of it like an acting script almost, where you're giving somebody the inflection they use, why they're saying what they're saying. So you want to think about what you want to, how the words need to come across, and how would you train someone to kind of understand what they're listening for and why they're saying something. In a conversational script like this one, usually there's a point to the conversation. So the point of this conversation is to give the customer a solution, like work them through their issue to come up with a happy ending for everyone. If this was a sales script, then the point of that conversation is to sell them something. So you think about how do you take someone from needing what you, hopefully needing what you're trying to sell, all the way to getting them to make the purchase decision. So think about the purpose of the script, what you're trying to get across, and then what techniques are used to, in either through communication style or through your own highlighting of the benefits of your product, or thinking about how to sort through taking someone from one place to another in a conversation. Usually these types of scripts, they don't go the same way every time. A conversation doesn't always happen the same way, and I think this is a yeah but that I hear from a lot of people when I say, hey, you should have a script for that. They automatically go to, well, this is variable. It doesn't happen the same way every time. There's no way I can script it. Well, in reality, things are variable, but most of it isn't. Most of it can be consistent and happen in a consistent way. So your ability to figure out what is consistent and put in tips and techniques for how somebody says something will make them, and if they can learn that, then they're more able to deal with the variable situations, because they're not trying to think through the basics of what to say. And successful conversations, whether they be sales or problem resolution or employee issues or customer issues, there's usually the best way to go about it. There's better ways than other ways. So write down the best way. The people who say these things over and over again, so like your top salesperson or a great customer service person or a receptionist, those people have just naturally come up with good ways of saying things through trial and error. And asking those people how they say it and what the best way to say it is can be a useful way of getting scripting down. So if this script, in a providing the solution script or in a conversational script, if this one is the best way this conversation could go, then what you also need is a frequently asked questions script, or a problem resolution script, or a response script. So this is an example of one of those. So if we're trying to have the conversation follow the script and go exactly as we've laid it out, pull people back on track with certain techniques, then this script will handle all the variables. So the frequently asked questions script or response script have prompts, just like this one, which could be a question, and then this would be the answer. Or it's a situation that might happen, and then how you would address that verbally. It's overall techniques for how to calm someone down or how to settle a difficult situation. So that's what this is. What to say for over the top angry customer. Be apologetic, sympathize, accept responsibility, find a way to help. And then these are the words over here. So not every customer is going to be super mad in a customer complaint situation, but sometimes they are. And so this kind of technique belongs in the response script or the frequently asked questions script. So these two types of scripts together can be super beneficial and useful for training. The overall conversational one here, and then you got frequently asked questions here. Generally with scripting, these scripts are memorized, and then it comes out in people's own words. So you're not trying to create robots where everyone's saying something the same way. But you do want a basic way to answer something. It's really not a good situation where you've got one person telling a customer one thing and then another person telling a customer another thing. You want everyone to be on the same page, and so scripting is, a good way to accomplish that. People memorize these; they come out in their own words. Also, with frequently asked questions scripts, it's good when you first attempt to do a script like this, just to brainstorm what you think all of the frequently asked questions related to customer complaints is, all the different situations that have occurred and how to handle them. And maybe you'll brainstorm this with your team and come up with 5 or 6 things. But then over time, you add to it and you train your team to add to it. So anytime somebody hears a different question, or anytime one of your salespeople comes to you and says, well, I got asked this question by a customer, what do I say? You would normally just fire off a response and then walk away. Well, take that as an opportunity to add it to your script. Even tell the employee, go and add that to the frequently asked questions script. So this is about creating an innovative culture where everybody's thinking, okay, we have this valuable tool called this FAQ script for customer complaints. And every time we hear something new or say something in a way that works really well, we add it to the script and add it to the script. Next tool down is called uploaded files. And there's not an uploaded file here. And I know that because there's nothing in the space underneath it. So I know there are 3 scripts here because this is the script header and these are the scripts listed. So this one's blank right now. If you click on the uploaded files tool, then you're prompted to upload a file. So the uploaded files tool allows you to take Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, and PDF documents and upload them to the process. You can always see the acceptable file types right here. If you try to upload an unacceptable file type, you'll get an error message. So to upload a file, you put in the name of the file. It's good to title it in TouchStone with the same title that you've titled it on your desktop or in the file that you're pulling it from. You keep those 2 names the same, then it just makes it easier to know what it is. You can put the objective, again, same thing. This is the purpose of this file. Why is this file here? Then I'm going to hit choose file. And now you search for your document, and then you hit create file. So it has to be an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document, PowerPoint, or a PDF file. The reason to upload documents is if there is, first of all, a spreadsheet. We don't have any tools over here that calculate numbers or do formulas. So if you have a spreadsheet that's used in the process, then you want to upload that spreadsheet as an uploaded file. Another example is if you have like a PDF manual of some kind. So maybe it's a manual on how equipment is used, or it's your computer manual, something that's a large document that's in PDF format. That would be another example of something that I would upload here in uploaded files. A PowerPoint presentation. I don't know, maybe people use PowerPoint still, but I think it's kind of not something that's used a whole lot. There's a lot of screen sharing stuff that's better than that. But having said that, if you have a PowerPoint presentation, you can upload that whole document. If you do have a PowerPoint presentation that somebody's using, like in a sales call or something like that, then they can access it here in this process, whenever they need it. Word documents can be uploaded. The next tool I'm going to show you right here, the document tool, is probably a better place for Word documents, and I'll explain why when we get there. But if you do have a Word document that's got links in it to other pieces of the document, or for whatever reason you really want it to stay in that Word format, then obviously you can put that in as an uploaded file. So one thing to remember about the uploaded files, I'm just going to call this for expediency. Once you upload a document, I'm going to upload this Word document. So now I've uploaded this Word file. If I hit View File, then that allows me to view that document. So now this whole file is uploaded to the process. If I hit View File, now my computer is launching Word. Opening it, and then here's this Word document. If I make a change to this, so I click and change something, I need to do File, Save As, and then save this back down to my computer, and then go and replace the old file with the new file. So I've saved that one I made a change to. And then I go here to this little edit pencil, and I hit choose file, and now I look for the changed file, and I replace the old one with the new one, and then I hit save. When you make a change, so you've hit view file, you've opened that document, you add something to the spreadsheet, you make a change to it, those changes aren't happening in TouchStone, they're happening in whatever software or program that file is in. So the changes are happening in Word on your network, on your computer. They're not happening in TouchStone. So that causes you to have to save those changes back to the Word document and then re-upload it back to TouchStone. So that's the downside of the uploaded file tool. Anytime you make changes, you have to save those changes and re-upload. Now on the dashboard, and I'm going to show you this towards the end, if you have a spreadsheet, say, that you access from the dashboard and you add things to it, then you save that spreadsheet back to the dashboard. And then you have versions of that spreadsheet, or you have versions of that document. So there's no need to like upload and reload every time you change it here using it on the dashboard. But if you want to change the original content of it, what's in that Word document, into that Excel spreadsheet, the actual formulas, then you've got to save it and re-upload it. So let's go down next to the document tool. So the document tool is called a document tool because it's like a Word document. So you give it a title, hit Create Document. Now you'll see the document that I just created is here. Then I would click right here where it says click to begin adding content. Super easy. This is like a blank Word document. It doesn't have all the functionality of Word, obviously, but it's pretty similar. You can build tables right here just by inserting a table, and then it allows you to do columns and rows. You can put in a big picture right here with insert image. Some people really like flowcharts. I don't like them to document processes, but that's just my opinion. But if you do like that, you can build a flowchart in Visio or whatever you have, and then you just take a big screenshot of it, Now, using Jing or your snipping tool, you just take a whole picture like that of your flowchart, and then you save it, and then you can upload it to the document tool. You can also do that if you have a picture that you want to be 8.5 by 11. You don't want to smash it into, you don't want to make your work plan super long by having this big image. Then you can put the image here in the document tool. You can cut and paste things from Word into the document tool. So here, this is just something I have open by chance. So I just go right-click copy. So you'd highlight your Word document, and then you just go paste, and then it just pastes it right into TouchStone. This right here, this table, you can edit and change the table even if you've cut and pasted it in from Word, just using these toolbar rows right here. Remember, there is the custom form tool, which I'm going to show you, which kind of does this in a bit better way. But if you want it to look like this and be similar to whatever you had in Word, just cut and paste. This is also just a blank text field. So I could write a letter, I could cut and paste in paragraphs of information, I could put in sample emails. So in a way, this document tool is like a catch-all for anything that you would need as part of the documentation that doesn't fit into these other tools for whatever reason. Now, when I'm done with this, I just hit save, and then it saves. So this is why I said it's preferable to have information from Word in the document tool as opposed to it being an uploaded file. And that's because if I want to change this document right now, I just click it, and now I can make changes, and I save it. It's all happening in TouchStone, as opposed to this uploaded file where I've got to hit the file, hit view file, it opens in Word, I make the changes in Word, I save it, and re-upload it. It's just a few extra steps. Someone's asking about deleting. This X right here is how you delete any of the process tools. So if you're on a process tool like this one, this uploaded file tool, if I just hit this X and then I say okay, then now that file's gone. Having said that, if you accidentally delete something, if you go view deleted right here, and then I go down here to, it was an uploaded file that I deleted, so I go to uploaded files, then here it is right here, and there's the date and time. This doesn't, okay, so this is another good question. I'll just answer this one quickly too. There isn't a way to delete a deleted file. So this just acts like a big trash can. But I hear what they're asking is there a way to delete this, what's in the deleted folder? And there's not. It just piles up on top of each other, and it goes in a descending order like this. That is interesting functionality. Probably the reason they didn't make it so you could delete what was deleted is because then people would accidentally delete what was deleted. And then we'd be in the situation of having to recover things from the database. That's why we built this, so we didn't have to go back and recover things from a database that people have accidentally deleted. This has no bearing on the performance of your TouchStone account. So you could have 500 deleted files here, and it's not going to slow your system down by any means. So it's better. So it has no consequence. Okay, one more question about deleting, and then I'll move on. So this person's asking if they have a different type of user logging in, and they don't see the X right here. So this is something I'm going to be talking about next week, account administration. So in account administration, you can set up users for your system, for your employees or for your team. And those employees, you can restrict their access. So you give them read-only access, or you give them create access, which means they can create new things and put them on their job description. They can create processes, they can upload files, they can create work plans. So even if someone has create access, they're still not going to be able to delete. And that's this X icon will not be in their toolbar row. So all that means is if you, and that them not being able to delete doesn't have a huge bearing on this screen because you can always restore it. But on the 4 key functions or on the org chart, it does have a bigger impact if someone was to go delete a process from their job description from the 4 functions. That would be a bigger deal. So we make it so only administrators can delete. So what needs to happen is if somebody wants something deleted, then they have to have an administrator log in and do it. Okay, enough about deleting. So next tool down is called Custom Forms. To make a custom form, I just click the header right here, same as the other tools, and I'm going to put in the name of my custom form. Again, the purpose can be important, the objective, and I hit Create Form. So now you'll see, just like the other situations, here's the name of my new custom form down here. There's 2 others that were already here. Here's the new one. So the custom form tool allows you to build fillable forms. It's very similar to Google Forms for any of you who have used that. The idea about these fillable forms is that they collect information about what happened when someone was running the process or doing the process, information you need, and these forms are then used on the dashboard. They can be printed, but they're electronic forms, so the fields get wider as you type into it. So they're best used on the dashboard. So these are the different fields that you can create. A short answer gives you just like a short answer field. So it might be like somebody fills in their name. And if you hit save, then you'll see the short answer field. So if it's a yes, no, or a title of something, somebody's name, a customer's name, then you can use the short answer field. If I want to then edit this after I've made it or created this field, I just click on it and it opens, and then I can change the title field or the field label, and then I hit save. If I want to delete it, I hit delete, and then it will go away. The next type of field is called paragraph, and this gives you a bigger field. So this is where if someone wants to put in notes or comments about what happened, you put the field label in, and then again when you hit save, and you can see it's got these 3 little dots here. So when someone types into this, it gets larger and larger. There's no text capacity or limitation with the paragraph. You can ask questions using multiple choice. So multiple choice, you can choose one answer. So you type in what the question is into the title field, and then you give choices. You can add more choices or delete choices just by hitting these 2 little icons here. So if I want to add a new choice, then I click the plus sign. If I want to delete a choice, then I hit the negative sign. I can reorder the choices just by dragging them up and down right here. And then when I save it, this is what it looks like. If I want to edit this after I've created it, I just click it again and it opens and I can make changes. Check boxes is when you have multiple answers or multiple items to be checked off. You can just check one. It could be yes, no check if you wanted it to, but this will give the user the ability to check off multiple things as opposed to the multiple choice where they can only choose one. So here's the checklist. So use this when you want multiple things to be able to be checked off. I'll just do an ABC here so you can see. It works the same way as the multiple choice. You can add more or delete. And when I hit save, this is what it looks like. So when I say you can check off multiple things, this happens over on the dashboard where this form is used. This is just where it's created. And then lastly, you have drop down here. This is good for yes, no questions. So you can type in yes and no. I had someone ask me the other day how you make it so when you click the drop down, you see the yes, no, as opposed to it just appearing and you'll see what I mean when I save it. How you do that is you just take a blank choice and put it at the top. Let me save this so you can see. If I hadn't done that, then when I hit this drop down, when this appeared right here, you'd see yes first, and someone would have to hit the drop down to see no. All of these things are drag and drop too, so I can reorder any of these just by moving them up and moving them down. Another tip on this is if you ask a question like yes, no, you could also then do a paragraph that says, so why? So if no, why? And then I save this, and then I just move that underneath the question. So when they do yes, no here, if I say if no, why, then they have a space right here to fill out the why. So that's the functionality of the custom form tool. Here's an example of like a customer complaint form that could get filled out. So this has got, short answer fields here, and then, it goes on listing, all the action taken. Again, these forms are best used on the dashboard. They can be completed and saved, and then managers could run reports on the forms that were created. Another cool way to use the custom form tool is to create tests. So this is a new customer complaint new employee test. So the idea with something like this is you've documented the whole process, you detail out the work plan, you do scripts, you put in the files and forms that are used, maybe you have a video, you have an audio file, you sit someone in front of the dashboard, a new employee, and you say, I want you to study this process. Read the work plans, memorize the scripts. We're going to talk about it for a while. Then I want you to show me how you can do it, actually do a role play. So whatever the manager feels like they need to interject in order to make sure the employee is thoroughly trained. Like bells go off in my head when I can document a process and sit an employee in front of it, and I don't have to say anything to them. It has enough detail in it that they can learn how to do this just by watching the videos, studying the work plans. They get it. Not everything is possible that way. Some things take experience and time, obviously, but there are situations where you can get that result, which is pretty cool. So then after you've done all that, they've studied it, they've learned it, then they take the test. So it could be something like this. You can do like a 3-part short answer test. You can do a multiple choice. This is obviously open book. So the employee could look at the work plan when they're doing it on the dashboard, and they could find the answer. So I think open-ended questions are good. So how do you begin the customer complaint conversation, or how do you determine it's a warranty issue? Okay, so next tool down is called a policy note. So if I click this header policy note, and then I would put in the name of the policy. This can get somewhat tricky, the name, because you sometimes go into describing the policy. So try to keep the name short and easy. Customer warranty and guarantee policy. And then hit create policy. Then this is the policy template. To edit the policy template, I have to hit this little edit pencil. And the way it's like that is because we've fixed the fields, so nothing can be edited or changed on the dashboard. That's the way it's like that, why it's like that. So this gives you the from, so you don't want to put a person's name here. It's always from the sales manager, or it could be the sales rep. So the who's it coming from and who's it going to. And then there's the date that the policy was created, and then the effective date, if it's new or revised, and then here's the text where you put in the policy statement. When you're done with it, you just hit this little save button. And then once it's saved, you can move away from it, or you can get right back to it just by hitting this I. So the policy note's pretty easy to use. What it's here for is to document rules, legal, compliance, safety, anything that's of the utmost of importance about the policy, about the process, sorry. A lot of times I'll see with people who don't have TouchStone that they'll have a manual full of policies, full of legal things, full of rules. and it's this 50-page manual, and new employees get it. You're like, here's your policies. You give them this massive manual. The issue with that is there's no context for it. So I could read through and memorize 50 policies, but chances that I'm going to remember a specific policy related to customer complaints while I'm doing a customer complaint are pretty slim. So we put the policy in the process because it gives it context. It gives it, there's a relationship. I know based on how the process works, how this policy is implemented and why it's here, just naturally, because I see the process all laid out. So anything that you want to stand out, a rule, legal, safety, compliance, anything like that, put it in as a policy note. If it's not of the utmost of importance, it's just, this is good to know, I think that better fits in the work plan here in the expectation. So reserve the policy note for things that are really important. You can even on the dashboard require employees to go and complete the policy and make a note to you that they've read it. Next tool down is the video tool. This allows you to upload either literal videos that you would take with your phone or screen capture videos. There's a new tool that I've been telling people about to take videos, which is a pretty cool tool. It's called Loom, L-O-O-M. They have a Chrome extension that you can add. So I've got it here in the upper right-hand corner called Loom for Chrome. You don't have to make it a Chrome extension. You can just download it for free. This is a free tool, by the way. Or you can add it to Chrome, which, you know, I like, that works better for me. So when I click Loom like this, it asks you if it's going to be a full screen or just the current tab. Then you move this down. Then you hit Start Recording. Entire screen or just the application window. I'm just going to choose the entire screen. Then I hit Share. It gives you this countdown. So now you can be speaking into your computer. You can say, go here, open up Google, go to this tool, come back here, click here. So this would be where you're demonstrating how to do something on your computer. You're going through the work plan maybe and showing the tasks. Then when you're happy with it, you just hit this little finish button, just the green check mark. Loom will give you a URL, or you can download it, which is better. So I'm going to download this, and then it's just going to download it to my computer. And then I go back to TouchStone. So let's put this in my downloads. Hopefully. Yeah. Then I go back to TouchStone. I give the video a title. So name what it is, and it can just be the name, customer complaint video. You don't have to scramble for a title if you can't think of one, if it's not obvious. Then I just hit choose file, and then I go to my downloads, and here it is right here. And now it's loading. It's loading super fast because this is a short video. It wasn't even a minute. And then I save it, and then there's the video. And when you hit play, then it plays. So super easy. This is better than Jing, just because it creates an MP4 file for you automatically. So that tool again was called Loom, L-O-O-M, and it's free. These videos can be really great because it not only it gives a visual, which is useful. It gives someone, it kind of takes the written word that's in the work plan and brings life to it. What I would caution people about is the video doesn't replace the work plan. So if you have a list of processes and all you've done is gone and done videos and uploaded them, so all you have in the process is a video, well, I suppose that's better than nothing, but it doesn't replace the work plan. And here's why. Let's imagine this was a 20-minute video. I see step one right here, but as I'm watching this 20-minute video, you're going through step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50 different steps. What if I forget step 4? So now I've got to like rewind the video to try to find where that was. It's First of all, it doesn't give the detail that is needed for someone to learn something, and it also lacks the ability to be able to reference it or point to a certain step. So think of the work plan up here as being the textbook, and the video is just a teaching aid. It's just a piece of that. It's not the whole documented process. Then lastly, the last tool is called the audio tool, and this will upload MP3 files. So there are a cajillion apps for your phone that will allow you to record somebody's voice. If you can do that on your phone, email it to yourself, download it to your computer, and then it's the same idea. It just gets a title, and then you hit choose file, you find the MP3 file, and then you hit save. Here's two examples. This is what it looks like when you have an MP3 file. You just hit play, and then you hear the sound. Anytime a process has a script in it, I think it's really great to have a role play of that script, or literally an actual conversation of someone saying it. It really it gives people a much better understanding of how something sounds. With the script, you can put in the prompt the inflection you want, or how sentences come across. But until someone hears it, it's really hard to get them to understand. In addition, if you have salespeople or customer service people or even managers who have quirky ways of saying things, like people say like a lot, or you all, or whatever it is, you can tell someone that doesn't sound good, but until they hear it, then it doesn't have such an impact. So you can record someone saying things in a certain way and then upload those files. So here's an example of customer complaint resolution example. And then here's another one that says how not to sound, which I think is it's a pretty great thing for training. So that is the process tools page. I'm going to go over here to the dashboard and just kind of give you a sense of what this looks like on the dashboard. So that particular customer complaint process is linked to this job description, which makes it available inside of the control panel for this position. So that process is linked to the job description over here. And then when I get, so it's linked right here to this position, this one. And then because I have a control panel for the manager of administration and finance, when I click this control panel, that process is here, right here. So I'm going to select this process. So there would be a couple reasons that somebody, an employee, would access this process on the dashboard. One reason is for training purposes. So if I'm a new employee, this is where I would go to study, read, memorize this process. Another training reason is for ongoing training. So it's not just new employee training, it's also ongoing training. So if I'm not saying something correctly, if I cannot deal with angry people, if I forget to fill the form out, if I don't do the checklist, and my manager's like, hey, go back and review the process. Let's look it over together. So that's an example of ongoing training. This process can also be accessed for innovation or improvement reasons. So right here, we talked about a frequently asked questions script. If I'm a salesperson and I've gone through this script as I'm talking to a lead on the phone, and I come up with a really great way to answer a different question, or I hear a new question or an issue that I'd never heard before, I could go over here to the Save As, and I could go look at this. This is just a note to my manager. And then in the notes section, I could say, add this question and this response. So I'm making a note to them right here, and then I just hit Save. I'm spelling everything wrong, but that's okay. So now my manager, when they run a report to look at what I'm doing, or I could email them and say, hey, I put a new question in the FAQs for customer complaints. They go run the report, and then they see this. And the manager can go over to the process tools page and add that. So I just wanted to point out that this is right here in the dashboard. Innovation is another reason that people would be accessing the processes to make suggestions on what to add to them. Or when something doesn't work right anymore, the steps changed. Another reason they would access things, an employee or anyone would access the processes on the dashboard is to complete what's in them. So this is a checklist right here. I click the checklist. I put in the customer's name here in the save as. I tick off these boxes as I do it, and then I save this back to TouchStone. So let's go back down here and look at some of the other tools. So here's that uploaded file. So if I wanted to, say this was a spreadsheet, and I wanted to add something to this spreadsheet or fill the spreadsheet out, I would access the uploaded file. I would hit View File. I'm not going to do all this just in the interest of time, but I'd hit View File. I'd add those numbers to it. Then I would upload the completed file, and I would save it back to TouchStone right here. So then what's happening with the uploaded files is versions of this, not of the file itself, but anything I'm adding to it are being saved back to TouchStone. So in a spreadsheet example, I could have a monthly spreadsheet, a weekly, an annual, and I'm adding information to those spreadsheets and saving them back to the dashboard. And then here's what that custom form looks like. So here's that customer complaint, new employee test. So I select this, and then these fields are all live. So this is a copy of this form, and now I'm filling it out. And you remember I can do multiple check boxes. I can only do one yes or no, or multiple choice. And then I fill out this whole form, and then I can save this as done if I want to. And then I hit save. And now that form is saved back to TouchStone. In addition, a PDF is created right here. It's called Print, but it's actually a PDF that you could print or you could email or download somewhere else. I'm just going to go back here. This is another custom form. This is the customer complaint form. So here I could put in the name of the customer making the complaint, fill out all this information, and then it's the same idea. I fill it out. I probably save this as the name of the person making the complaint, and then I just hit save, and now it saves back to TouchStone. For policies, you could have employees go to the policy like this one, so they select it, and they could save this as done, or this is what we do, read and agree. So you can put something else, ask them to put something else in the notes field, but then once they save this, then you've got a date and time stamp for when they've reviewed that policy. And then lastly, people can go to videos like this one. This is the one I just uploaded. This is a customer complaint training video, and they click on the video, and then there's my video that I just did. And then they hit this little play button, and the video will play. So for training purposes, they're watching this video, but then you could go and ask them to do a save as, just put done or watched. And then when they save it, it's going to date and time stamp it and save a copy of this back to TouchStone. So the manager has evidence, or they have a flag that the employee actually watched it. Okay, there's a lot more to what goes on in the dashboard. 2 sessions from now, the last session, we'll have a complete training on the control panel and management review. So there's a process from our process library that I just wanted to highlight today since I've got some extra time, and it's called Key Performance Indicators. I like this process particularly now because there's still, I know in some states, people are starting to go back to work, but there is, like in California, people are not going back to work yet. So this is a good process for people working from home, but it's also a great process for just businesses in general. So this process, key performance indicators, can be downloaded from the library right here. I'm in Guiding the Business, so it's in the Guiding the Business library. Every function has its own library: getting, doing, guiding, running. So I'm in Guiding the Business, and then you just go here, library, and you go to the general process library, and you'll find key performance indicators. So I'm just going to select this process from here. So the key performance indicators process has a lot of ideas in it. So there's examples of financial key performance indicators, HR, customer service. There's marketing examples. So when you download this process, or if you do, it's going to have a lot of content in it. And what you want to do is just figure out how you're going to use it. So one idea is that you could break this up into for different managers. So I could have one key performance indicator process for marketing, one for operations, one for admin finance, one for sales. So if you want to do that, then the best thing to do is to go to Guiding the Business here, add a process, and call it KPIs for sales. I'm adding a new process, and then I hit save. So I've just added a brand new process to TouchStone right here. Then I go to the key performance indicators process, and I go to what I want in here that's related to sales. So this right here, this is a document that's got some example key performance indicators for sales. Then I would move this tool out, just hitting this icon right here. I'm going to move it out of this process, and I'm going to put it into the one I created, KPIs for sales, and save. So now that process, that tool, that document is gone from here, and it's actually inside of my new process right here. So by doing this, you're kind of breaking apart this process and making it into separate parts. You don't have to do that. You could link this process to everyone's job description who has to do it. It has to create key performance indicators, but this is just another way. If you break it apart, you can then take this process, and this is just a quick way to link it to a job description. And I choose the position I want to link it to, and I keep it in strategic because it's a evaluation kind of thing, save, and now it's on that job description. So this key performance indicators process has some ideas for you on types of indicators that you can use. So that's what these work plans are. So this is financial indicators, current ratio, working capital. These are all great ones. Human resource stuff is also important to track. So absent rate, cost, employee satisfaction, employee productivity. This is just a ton of different ideas. I wouldn't evaluate every single one of these things. Just find out or decide what you think is high level and relevant for you to know. Imagine you're a manager or you're an entrepreneur and you're on the beach somewhere in the Bahamas, and every manager in your company has got to send you key indicator reports every week. And if you look at those reports, you will know the health of your business. It doesn't have to be 100 things. It's probably 10 things. But by looking at those numbers, because the numbers are telling a story about what's gone on in your business, from those numbers, you can tell the health of your business. So come up with what the indicators for you are, and then come up with a way, a format for them to be evaluated. So there's a few document ideas here. So this is the document tool, and this is just a form or a table that has been put or built in this document. This is an idea for indicators that are tangible and intangible. So like happy customers can kind of be an intangible thing, or employee satisfaction is kind of an intangible thing. So we give you this idea of doing a rating of +5 to -5 and progress, whereas tangible indicators are a number or a percentage, so they're more tangible. So there's this idea. You can also do a custom form like this one. Then this has like review period, conversion rate, is it average or below average, and then the comments. So just different formats for your form that your managers or your employees will use to give you evaluation. So let me just, before we run out of time, I'm just going to go here and show you what this looks like on the dashboard. So once you've created these key indicator processes, you put them on the job descriptions for your managers or for the person who's going to be using them, then they would go here to the control panel, and here's this one for marketing. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but we'll go with it. Key performance indicators. So I choose this process, and now as the manager, I'm going to fill this out and save it back to TouchStone. So I could look at the work plan here just to kind of remind myself of what the indicators are that I'm evaluating if I need to. But most likely I go right here to the form, and then here's that form. So this is a copy of the form, and if this is being done for a weekly or a monthly, this says weekly. You can edit and change this form, obviously, to suit your purposes, but that happens where we were before over on the 4 key functions. So here I would just fill these forms out. So I'd put in what the indicator is that I'm evaluating, and then I'd go and fill out the form. When I'm happy with it, I save it, and then it saves this back to TouchStone. This is quite elaborate. It takes a little bit to come up with the target before current progress. You could also keep it super simple and do kind of what we did over here just by making it a custom form. So like with this, it could just be as simple, It can just be as simple as having 3 or 4 questions here in a custom form like this. So this is really easy. If I saw that on the dashboard, it'd be 1, 2, 3, boom, I put the numbers in, save, and that's it. When your manager goes to look at those forms, what they'll do is go here to reports, or what you'll do, depending on if you're a manager or an employee on the line, and you go to management review. And now I can choose a date range here. I can search for key indicators. I can search for just forms. I can search by person here. And then when I hit run report, based on what I searched for, either date range or person, then I'm going to see what that employee has done. And I didn't put a date range in or anything, so it's giving me everything. But here you can see the person, the process title, and then the name of what it is they completed. So key indicators, I think this is a cool process. I think it's good for every business to think about. It's good for managers to try to really understand what are the results of their department and what are the indicators that show those results. Before I let everyone go, I just want to give a plug for our drop-in sessions. Those are happening on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock Pacific time. All of you should have received an invite for that. If you did not or you missed it, then just email me or go to support and someone will send it to you. The registration for the drop-in sessions is going to be posted inside the Resource Center, I think, today, so you can find it there as well. These Tuesday sessions are just for people to come and ask questions, for us to talk about particular topics, go over things. You can hear what other people are doing. By registering, you just get sent a reminder. It's no big deal if you don't show up. But if you do have the time or the opportunity to, then you're welcome to join at any point. Next week, we're going to talk about account administration. So I'm going to discuss how to set up users, how to set access and what all that access means, how to create control panels, and everything related to how you add a user, add an employee, and what they see and how they do things from their end. So that'll be next week. I do have a few questions that I'm going to email people the answers, so don't be concerned if I didn't answer your question. Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye-bye.